At my son's wedding, the bride sat me in the kitchen like I didn't exist, even though I paid for the entire event. I didn't argue. I simply made one call. And suddenly the band, the bar, and the flowers were all gone. She sat me by the kitchen. That's where I watched my own son get married. Through a swinging door, behind a tray of shrimp cocktails, the smell of lemon and brine mixing with sweat and humiliation. I paid for the wedding. Every flower arrangement, every rented chair, every decorative candle. I thought paying for it meant I mattered, that I was part of something. But when the music started and the toasts began, I realized I had bought my own exclusion. I wasn't part of anything. Not the photos, not the seating chart, not the family they were curating for the world. I smiled, stayed quiet, swallowed every ache in my throat, and after the last bite of cake, I burned it all down with 3 quiet phone calls. My seat was a folding chair with a paper napkin tossed carelessly over it, wedged between used trays and a metal cart with a broken wheel that squeaked each time someone pushed it. I stood there blinking, trying to make sense of it. The scent of marinara clung to the air, thick and sour, mixing with the heat blasting out of the kitchen ovens. My mauve chiffon dress, the one I had chosen so carefully, suddenly felt ridiculous. I had spent 3 hours at the salon that morning. 3 hours imagining that this day, even if bittersweet, would have a place for me. But no one said a word. No one warned me the plans had changed. Not even Daniel. My Daniel, who was too busy basking in the warmth of her parents, letting her mother kiss his cheek like she had raised him. I clutched my little beige handbag, the one he bought me years ago when he still called me Mama, and felt my hands tremble. The catering manager, barely a man, tried to soften the blow with an awkward smile. "They said you were supposed to wait back here, ma'am. The bride didn't want, any visual clashes with the theme." The theme. I sat down slowly, the chair groaning like it shared my exhaustion. My shoes stuck slightly to a stain on the floor. My plate, cold chicken breast on chipped china, waited for me like an insult. I didn't touch it. I pulled out the program they handed me at the church, read the elegant cursive that listed every role and every honor except mine. Her father walked her down the aisle. Her mother gave the first speech. I was nowhere. Just a purse string, a ghost drifting behind the kitchen door. A flash of light caught my eyes when the door swung open. I saw the chandelier, the band, the first dance, Daniel and Emily spinning under golden light. He didn't glance toward me. Not once. I pressed the napkin to my lips to hide the tremble, told myself my eyes watered because of the onions in the kitchen, not the betrayal tightening around my ribs like a vice. But the truth settled inside me like a crack spreading across glass, quiet at first, but destructive all the same. I stared at a patch of peeling paint on the wall. It became the anchor keeping me from dissolving into the kind of sobs that have no end. If I broke open here, I wasn't sure I'd ever close again. I breathed. I waited. Dessert arrived looking perfect and fragile in its golden white layers. I didn't taste it. I only stared. And then I made the call. 3 quick cancellations. The Sunday brunch flowers, the second half of the band's set, the open bar that was supposed to last until midnight. My voice was calm, almost serene, as if something dormant in me had awakened. When I hung up, I didn't feel guilt, not shame, just a faint hum inside me, the engine of a woman who remembered she wasn't powerless. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in the stiff hotel bed, still in my dress, staring at the ceiling fan spinning like it might fall and crush me. I half hoped it would. The smell of kitchen grease clung to my hair. I kicked my shoes off finally, my swollen feet throbbing from hours of standing in the shadows of my own celebration. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. Missed calls from Daniel, from Emily, even a message from my niece. What happened? Everyone's freaking out. I didn't answer. Instead, I opened the wedding budget spreadsheet I'd maintained obsessively for a year. Every upgrade, every elevated detail Emily had insisted on sat neatly cataloged. I had paid for hand-calligraphed invitations, the upgraded venue, the antique barrel decor, the 5-tier cake. They didn't offer to split a thing. And I never asked. Because I wanted Daniel to have a beautiful day, the kind I never could have afforded when he was little. Then I saw them. 2 unauthorized charges, a bar tasting, a rehearsal dinner upgrade, my card, used without permission, and her Venmo note to a bridesmaid. His mom is covering everything anyway. Might as well go big. Wedding vibes. The pain didn't even sting. It sank deep and heavy, like a stone falling into water too dark to measure. I washed my face, looked in the mirror, and barely recognized the woman staring back. Eyes smudged, hair flat, mouth hard. I sat at the desk and sent 3 emails. Cancellations, balance withheld, services reduced. Polite, controlled, final. By dawn, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Myself. But when the music pulsed through the wall of the kitchen earlier that evening, when I heard the toasts and the laughter, I'd felt the shift begin. Her father stood there under the floral arch I paid for, toasting his daughter and her perfect new husband. Her mother dripped in pearls, glowing as she declared Daniel a second son. They rewrote his history in front of a room full of people while I stood behind a door, erased from the story I had built my entire life around. Then Daniel spoke. He thanked everyone. He thanked them. He thanked everyone who helped make today happen. Everyone except me. Not a whisper of my name. I remember staring at the cake a server brought me. A slice of vanilla with raspberry filling. Her favorite flavor. I hate raspberry. Always have. But they didn't know that. They didn't care. They never asked. After dessert, when the music was perfect and everyone was dancing, I slipped outside into the cool night air and made the calls. Quiet, precise, necessary. Later in the hotel room, messages poured in. Mom, this isn't funny. You're ruining everything. Why is brunch canceled? Please respond. Emily's last message. This is childish. Childish. After everything. The word didn't slice me. It slid off the armor I had grown in the silent hours since the ceremony. The next morning, I checked my banking app again. The unauthorized spa days, champagne brunches, manicures for the bridal party, all charged to me. They had dipped into my kindness like it was a never-ending well. The florist emailed, no refunds. The band emailed, deposit kept. None of it mattered. None of this was about the money. It was about reclaiming the place they tried to push me out of completely. By the time I drove home, I felt hollow but steady. The roses in front of my house were blooming, but I didn't stop to admire them. I went straight to the dresser and pulled out a red file folder I hadn't touched in years. At the bottom was an unopened letter from my late husband, the one he wrote before he left, before Arizona, before the decades of silence. My hands trembled as I opened it. Margaret, it began. Daniel, he isn't biologically yours. My vision blurred. I read slowly, sentence by sentence, that Emily, the woman he left me for, had been pregnant before he and I married. That they had agreed I would never know. That he had died carrying the weight of that lie. And suddenly, everything made sense. The distance, the avoidance. The way her parents clung to Daniel like they had always known him. The way Daniel drifted from me year after year like something quietly shifting in his blood. I sat there with the letter trembling in my hands, my heart changing shape inside my chest. Not breaking, reshaping, hardening where it had once been soft. And I understood something I should have known all along. They didn't exclude me because I wasn't good enough. They excluded me because they never saw me as his mother at all. I folded the letter, placed it back in the red folder, exhaled a long, steady breath. Whatever came next, whatever storm my silence had already set in motion, wasn't revenge. It was truth reclaiming its place. And for the first time in a very long time, I wasn't afraid of the fallout. I welcomed it.